breakfast with Francisco Diego in London. He's a physics and astronomy lecturer at University College London. Good to have you on the program. How concerned should we be about this particular rocket and the fragments from it? Is it very dangerous?
It is very unlikely that it will produce any damage. It will land. I think it has landed already. I don't know. The reports are a bit conflicting at the moment, but landed on the sea. But this is a very important warning message about the need of regulations. I keep saying that every time we talk about these topics. International regulations have to be enforced. In this case, it's China, but it has been the case of other countries as well, other space agencies, including NASA, that have had uncontrolled entries, and luckily nothing happened. And this is when things go well. Sometimes you have accidents. For example, the Columbia disaster, the space shuttle that broke in midair over the United States, over Texas, and there were no major injuries there, but it was an accident. But still, that has to be some kind of control and preventive, especially with big pieces of metal, as it is in the case of the Chinese rocket at the moment, where these pieces of metal will survive the re-entry on the atmosphere and will crash land sometime somewhere on land. It's very important. I don't think there is a big problem at the moment in this particular instance, but in the future, this is as I said, a very good warning to implement and to enforce regulations.
So with this type of incident, are we looking at a situation where NASA and other countries that are launching rockets more frequently, looking at some sort of international regulation at least, because surely the country or institution launching this rocket is also responsible for what happens when it comes back to Earth?
Well, exactly. Although you can be responsible, but you cannot control things sometimes, and then the damage will be done. You can always apologize. In fact, and now we are still expecting a statement from China that hasn't produced any statements yet. We had a statement with Bill Nelson from NASA saying that the Chinese failed to report the trajectory of the rocket, and we give more details about where was the aiming point of impact. Perhaps they didn't have it, but we haven't had any communication from the Chinese agency. So yeah, I think it is important for there is the United Nations Outer Space Treaty that exists in the 1960s, and it hasn't been updated, it hasn't been implemented, and it hasn't been enforced. And in fact, I understand that not Russia, China, or NASA have signed that treaty. That treaty has to be implemented, and everybody has to sign it and then enforce and follow what the treaty says. That's going to be very important. We are getting so many launches uncontrolled with an enormous amount of players, national space administrations, but also we have private industry, we have companies, we have space tourism, we have all other players as well, and all those have to come under the same regulations. Otherwise, it's going to be extremely dangerous.
Absolutely. Francisco Diego, really good to speak to you and get your expertise on this. Live to us there from London. Thanks so much.
Pleasure.